this is this nice thing about this very cool weather we're experiencing, that the cats are definitely keep moving for longer. He's going to choose to drink in a puddle rather than in the dam. Just get up. And the reason he's doing that is that while he's got a choice, he won't go to a large body of water because there could possibly be a crocodile in it. So this is definitely a safer spot for him. So that's probably why he hasn't popped up on the Juma waterhole cam. It's because he's been drinking out of these puddles after the rain, which is a little bit safer for him than drinking out of the dam. Sorry guys, if you hear that clicking, that's just my camera. He's a thirsty boy. Very thirsty boy. So I'm just going to move forward a little bit so we can get a different angle quickly. See? So leopards don't actually need to drink. They can get enough moisture from the blood, from the kills that they eat. But where there is water available, they will generally drink. His eyes are closed while he's drinking. He seems to be really enjoying that. See how his ears were twitching there? Are those little flies the same ones that annoy us, annoy him? Have a snooze, and he's probably not moved more than 200 meters since we found him 5 days ago. It looks like he might go into the drainage line. I'm going to try stay with him. It can get quite difficult in this drainage line, but we will see shortly. He's going to be a morning, F. How are you doing? Very good, thanks, and Paul. Oh, he's going to be quite kind. Instead of going down into the thickets, he's going to sit up top here. The mist is burning off and the sun is coming out a little bit. I'm just going to change positions quickly, guys. Get a better view. Trying to think which is going to be the best way. Definitely going to have to be that side. There's a big erosion patch there that we're not going to be able to drive through. So I think for now, where we are is probably best. It's where the certain soil got high mineral and salts, and drinking water from those areas, or even I've seen leopard and lion, more particularly elephant, will actually eat the clay that's full of those salts. I think this water in particular just happens to be a bit muddy. I don't think they are drinking the muddy water by choice for minerals in this particular circumstance. He's grooming himself. cleanly leopard, young quarantine. Most leopards are. They do tend to groom themselves. Often you will see them licking and cleaning after feeding or drinking. Good morning, Sandy from Indiana. Sandy's got a couple of questions. First, he'd like to know roughly how old is this leopard we're looking at here. Sandy, this leopard's probably 28 months old, or around 28 months old, so just over 2 years. And Sandy would also like to know how old male leopards are when they're sexually mature and ready to mate. Sandy, probably male leopards would be physically able to mate from around just over 3.5 years. But they take a long time to gain a territory. And so the dominant male leopards will generally stop the younger males mating until they can sort of claim their own territory, which depending on the leopard could be as young as 5, but normally around 6 or 7, when the leopard will be able to fight and chase off another male leopard for a territory. Now you see him doing that. He could be removing ticks or fleas. Movement when they want to remove. So again, he's still got a full belly, so I don't think he's probably going to move too far this morning. If anything, if he does get a bit warm where he's lying, because he is lying quite out in the open there, he might head down into the drainage line that runs below, runs through Gowrie Dam, particularly below Gowrie Dam. Might find a nice shady spot. If the sun comes out and there's some cool sand down there, I don't think he's going to move too far again today. So as you might just hear me speaking to the other guides from time to time, just have a quick chat with Ephraim, find out what was happening with the Nkuhuma Pride, because I think Ephraim was following the tracks. Ev? How are you for? Where are they going for? Oh, they're going for holiday. Oh, okay. Okay. And Birmingham? Ish. No, not Ngala. The Earth's guys were booger for them this morning, but I think they were Famba South. Good morning, Virginia, who's tweeting us this morning. Virginia would like to know, has there ever been a case where a male leopard who's taken over an area will let an older male leopard stay in that area? Virginia, not in my experience, and I heard recently that possibly one of my favorite leopards of all time that I used to see quite often when I worked in the southern Sabi Sands, the Campan male, is sort of trying to hide on the peripheries of other leopards at the moment, and he is getting a very hard time, and he's very scarred and battle-torn at the moment. Generally, though, a male leopard would not want another male leopard anywhere in its territory unless it was its offspring, and only till they didn't pose a threat to his mating rights. So the reason for that is that the male leopard is trying to make sure his genes are passed on, and therefore wouldn't tolerate, in my experience, wouldn't tolerate another male leopard in the area. You can see that nice landing strip, as I like to call it, on the back of Quarantine. It's one of his very distinct spot patterns. Very, very straight, coming off his tail. So it looks like a runway to me. Good morning, Tina. Tina's also tweeting us this morning. Tina said that elephants have quite a strong scent. Do leopards and lions also have a strong scent? Well, Tina, for me, leopards have a stronger scent than lions, and they do have a scent, but it's not that strong. When a leopard scent marks, so when it urinates and scent marks, and there's a very distinct smell that's left after that, and it smells very much like buttered popcorn, if you ever went to the movies. So leopard scent marks smell like buttered popcorn. He's heard something off to his right. So his ears are up. He's paying attention to something. Yeah. Just listening. This is quite a good place for a leopard to rest. Likelihood of other prey species coming close to him is quite high. We've got some nice short grass grazing behind him, so you should get impala and other grazers on there. And also with this drainage line, you might have a nyala and bushbuck also moving towards him. Good morning, Hannah from Cape Town. Hannah would like to know, what is the average weight between a male and female leopard? And is that area specific, and does that have a lot to do with the prey they're able to catch. So it all depends, as you're completely correct, it depends on the area, Hannah. So for this example, the leopards in this area, the males, are generally anywhere from 75 to about 90 kilograms. Anything above 90 kilograms is really, really massive for a male leopard. And the females can weigh as up to about 60 kilograms, but normally around 50, 55 kilograms. So they are very big leopards in general in this area. But take that for example, and that's because of what they're able to feed on. You have a high density of herbivores, so lots of inyala, impala, wildebeest. So they've got a large prey selection to choose from and lots of large prey to choose from. So they are able to feed off larger prey species. If you take the Western Cape, for example, a male leopard is on average 45 kilograms, which is much, much smaller than a female leopard in this area. And a female leopard is sometimes not even 20 kilograms. And in that area, they feed off very small antelope like grijsbok, and a lot of sort of birds' eggs, insects, lizards. So they get very small meals, therefore their body size is a bit smaller. And the leopards I saw in the Central African rainforests, they were also physically smaller, but probably somewhere in between those ranges. But there is a huge amount of range in terms of size with leopards, just depending on where they are and what they eat. Good morning, Colin from Johannesburg. Colin would like to know how long could this leopard survive on the current meal it's had, and how long would it at maximum, I'm guessing, before it would really need to make another kill. Colin, you'd probably survive, if you had to push it, 8 or 9 days.
Ignition key.
The ignition key. Thank you, Brian. So you could probably survive 8 or 9 days at a push without killing. Obviously, you wouldn't choose to go that long without a kill. And then also, the second part of Colin's question was that once the male leopards do become, have been pushed out of their territory and nomadic, and they sort of hang around the peripheries of other leopards' territories, what is their sort of scavenging technique when they get too old to hunt? Basically, they'll eat anything. I've seen old male leopards eating buffalo feces, eating hyena feces, just trying to get some nutrients. But when they get to that stage, Colin, I'm afraid it's almost always going to end quite sadly. And it's normally the hyenas or lion that get those old male leopards, or in some cases another male leopard. They will also, I have heard of them trying to, or actually actively seeking out female leopards with young cubs and eating the cubs as a survival strategy. Move to let Ephraim go past. Good morning, Virginia. Another question from Virginia this morning on Twitter. Virginia would like to know, after what I said about male leopards, are they able to mate for the majority of their lives until they die? Virginia, it goes pretty much the same way as, even though they might be physically able to mate, once they get to that stage where they're pushed out of the territory, they are physically able to mate. The dominant male leopards in the area just will not let them mate. Good morning, Kathy from New York. Kathy says domestic cats in the US go batty for a plant called catnip. Is there any plant or something like that in the African bush that does the same for our cats? Well, they do seem to like buffalo urine from time to time and buffalo dung. I've seen a Quatila female leopard rubbing herself on buffalo urine, but I know this is going to be quite strange for some of you. A lot of leopard researchers, when they want leopards to turn to the camera traps so they can get nice facial pictures for ID purposes in areas where the leopards aren't relaxed like this, use different fragrances as something to get the leopards to stop smell, because they do like smells and to rub up against. And strangely enough, the most effective of these, and it just proves that leopards have expensive taste, is a Chanel No. 5, is catnip for leopards. Guys, we're gonna go have a look around. We'll definitely come back to have a look if he's here in this area a bit later. He might move into the drain zone, but I don't think he's going to move too far from where he is now. And unfortunately, we have a technical difficulty at the moment. We're going to have to turn off our camera. Brian needs to take the camera off so he can tighten the head that the tripod's on, and so we will be back shortly. We're just going to have to turn off the camera in about a minute or so we can readjust the head. It's getting very, very loose, and we wouldn't want the camera to fall off while we're moving.